Multiplying polynomials. To multiply a monomial by a monomial, we use our exponent rules. So the example here is 4xy times 7x squared. Well, this is pretty much saying you have 4 times x times y times 7 times x squared. So what I do is I just group together my coefficients, 4 times 7. I have x times x squared, and then I just have y. 4 times 7 is 28. Right here we have x1 plus 2, because that's our exponent rule, and y. So our answer is 28 x cubed y. So anytime you're multiplying a monomial, one term, by another term, then you're just going to use your exponent rules. Now, when you go to multiply a monomial by a polynomial, we're going to use the distributive property. And this is the old distributive property. There's nothing new about it. It's what you are used to. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to distribute this 4h to the 3h and distribute the 4h to the negative 5. So we actually have 4h times 3h plus 4h times negative 5. All right. So what I did, I took this 4h and I'm multiplying it by each one. So 4 times 3 is 12. And then remember you have your exponent, so you have a 1 and then a 1 here, which gives you x squared. And then you have 4 times negative 5 is negative 20h. So I'm going to write this one out to the side to explain it better, why it is h squared. So you have 4h times 3h, which you would have 4 times 3 and h to the 1 power plus h times h to the 1 power. So you have 12h1 plus 1, which gives you 12h squared. So I hope that makes a little bit more sense on how you're doing that. So you're really using the exponent rules while you're distributing. Okay? So now let's use the distributive property here. We're going to have a monomial multiplied by a trinomial. Okay? So I'm going to multiply 3b by each of my terms. All right? So I have 3b, whoopsie, b not h, times b squared plus 3b times 6b plus 3b times negative 7. Now I can add some colors to this if it will help us understand a little bit better where I'm getting everything. Remember, the sign always goes up front. Okay. So here we have 3 times a 1, because there's an imaginary 1 in front of that, which gives me 3. This b has an exponent of 1. So you have 1 plus 2 is going to give us b cubed. Plus 6 times 3 is 18. This b has a 1 of an exponent, and that has an exponent of 1. So that gives me a b squared. And then you have 3 times negative 7, which is going to give us a negative 21, and we just bring down the b. So what you're actually doing here is you're multiplying your coefficients, and you're adding how many b's you have together in your exponent. That's it. All right. So that's your answer. 3b cubed plus 18b squared minus 21b. All right. So let's try another one here. Got 2 more examples. Now, your homework, you're going to have 3 different sections. The first one's going to be like this. The second section is like this, and the third section is like this. Okay? So I'm giving you an example from each section so you know exactly what we're doing. All right. So once again, we have a monomial multiplied by a binomial. What we're going to do is we are going to distribute. Okay? You only distribute to what's in the parentheses. I do not pay attention to this right now. Okay? Because remember, it's the normal distributive property rule, which is what we're used to. Okay? So here I have 2 times 3 is 6. I have an x to the 1 power, x to the 2nd power. So I have x cubed. And then we have 2 times 4. So that's plus 8x. And then I'm just going to take this little guy right here, and I'm just going to bring it down, minus 3x cubed. Okay, I distributed the monomial by the binomial, and then I just brought down that extra term. And then at this point, we do what we normally did when we were solving equations, and we did the distributive property. The next step was combine like terms. Well, a like term, y'all, is going to be the variable and the exponent that matches. The variable and the exponent have to match. Yes, they're all 3 x's, but these are the only ones that have an x cube on it. So I look at it. 6 minus 3 is 3. I'll leave it x cubed. Nothing combines with the 8x, so I just bring it down. So what you'll do is you'll distribute, bring down the extra term, combine like terms, solve. Normal equation rules, all right? Or normal, when you simplify expressions, the same thing. All right, so this last one, we are going to, once again, we see parentheses, and anytime we see parentheses, that means you have to distribute, all right? So 4 times b is 4b. 4 times 6 is 24. We're going to distribute the 2 to the b and the 2 to the 5. 2b, 2 times 5 is 10, and we just bring this little guy down, plus 2. You see how I'm doing the exact same thing, it's just this is a simpler example, I guess, a more simple example of it. Okay, so now combine like terms. We're look at the left side. I have a b and I have a constant, so I can't combine anything on that side. Look at the right side. I have a b term, a constant, and a constant. So that means I can combine those numbers. So we have 4b plus 24 equals 2b plus 12. And then we're just going to solve our equation. I always want you to move your variable first. And I like keeping things positive, so I'm going to subtract 2b, leaves me with 2b plus 24 equals 12. Sorry, can't see that. All right, and now I have to isolate my variable, so I have to get rid of this 24. So I have 2b equals negative 12. So now I'm going to divide by 2, divide by 2. That leaves me with b equals negative 6.